Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of CTLN Opinion Plus, where we have conversations about issues and concerns of the Latino community. Today, we're joined by Daniella Arias, Program Coordinator of the Hub, a behavioral health action and organization for Southwestern Connecticut. Thank you for joining us, Daniella.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Could you start off by telling our audience a little bit about the Hub's mission and the sort of services or programs your organization offers?
Sure. So here at the Hub, we are the state's designated RBHAO, Regional Behavioral Health Action Organization. Connecticut is actually divided into 5 regions, and we are Region 1. So we serve the lower 14 towns from Greenwich to Stratford. And what we do here is, so we actually don't offer direct services. We're more indirect services. We offer a ton of resources. We serve as a strategic partner and resource for the region. We do that by supporting and coordinating initiatives related to mental health, suicide, substance misuse, and problem gambling. We also work as a liaison between the region and the state. So some of the ways we do that is by conducting regional needs assessments, supporting local prevention councils. So 14 of the towns actually have their own local prevention council where everyone comes together and works on initiatives themselves within the town. We organize catchment area councils. We convene with the Southwestern Connecticut Suicide Advisory Board. We support the Region 1 Gambling Awareness Team. We serve as a strategic community partner. We are also lead and support advocacy efforts, and we're helping address the opioid epidemic.
Wow, it seems like the Hub is facilitating a lot of work in the region.
Yes.
Could you tell me a little bit about some of the work that you're most passionate about and how you would like to use that to make a change in your area?
Sure. So, as I said, the opioid epidemic is a huge thing that is a large, ongoing concern. It only seems to be getting worse, unfortunately. So here at the Hub, we work with AmeriCorps, which also works towards helping decrease the opioid epidemic. We do that by offering Narcan trainings twice a month, which are free and open to everyone. We give out free Narcan kits to those who attend the trainings, as well as others in our community, such as police stations, fire departments, schools, and other organizations. I'm also very passionate about mental health and suicide, so we do a lot of work with that. We focus a lot with the youth as well as adults, and we are focusing with senior citizens as well. And as I'm sure you know, with the pandemic now, that's a large concern for everyone, and as we move into post-pandemic. So we do that by offering trainings. We are constantly updating our resources. We have kind of flyers that we create and disseminate throughout the region for support groups, how you can get help, and everything of that nature.
Wow, and has the community been pretty supportive of these Narcan trainings and the types of services you're offering?
Yes. So we actually give out a ton of Narcan kits. Last week alone, we gave out over 50 for some of the trainings that we did. So it is very widely much used, which is great, of course. Yeah.
That's great. I wanted to touch on things like race, ethnicity, gender expression, and sexuality, and how they can play a huge role in the state of a person's mental health. How does the Hub take these things into consideration when creating your programs and services?
Yes. So mental health does not discriminate. Suicide, it affects everyone, even though you may see more common trends among other, races and ethnicities. It does affect everyone. We do work with others who work strongly with the Latino community. I am a Latina myself, so I find that, extremely important. And actually, it is kind of frowned upon in the Latino community to kind of seek other help and resources. So we try and help them by offering a lot of our resources and guides and some trainings in Spanish. For example, our QPR training is a suicide gatekeeper training, and we offer it in English and Spanish as well. So we can try and get a broader reach, and we can try to include everyone. We recently updated our resource guides with a ton of information and resources and support groups, throughout the region, and we now offer them in Spanish. So that's huge. A lot of people have been using those. We have also updated our website and included an LGBTQIA plus resource page. So that's been a big hit because, sometimes finding those resources are harder. So we kind of worked hard to gather that information to make it accessible to everyone.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to touch on that too about the Latino community. I saw reported by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services in 2019 that suicide was among the leading causes of death for Latinos between 15 to 26. Do you think it's really important to specifically target these communities, or do you think your like widespread outreach can just include them in general?
I think it's definitely important to specifically include them. As I said before, it's kind of frowned upon for them to get that help. So kind of making it more normalized and more of a natural conversation and including all of them could help tremendously because we don't want, as I said before, mental health and suicide doesn't discriminate. So really trying to focus on them as well and offering these resources in Spanish and other things to help get parents and teachers and other, people involved is extremely important.
And how can people within these communities work to help those around them who might be struggling with mental illness or addiction and we don't even realize that they are?
Yes. So again, the hub, our website, we have a ton of resources, kind of, doing your research and kind of looking for those clues and key things that can help better understand, because sometimes it could be direct and then sometimes it can be extremely indirect. And, I've heard throughout trainings of people who know people who have died by suicide and they're like, I had no idea this person was feeling this way. But familiarizing yourself and attending these trainings and getting and gathering all those resources and spreading them through the community, whether it be your family, your friends at school, your peers, is very important. And that way it'll become more familiarized and you'll be able to pick up on those things and help those people get the help that they need.
Of course. Has there been any part of your work with the hub that you think has seemed really difficult or just hard to overcome that you've had to deal with since starting?
I think I would say I began in October and I've been fully remote. So I will say that it has been a little difficult connecting to people online, because not everyone has access to internet or, everyone's getting blown up with emails and now students are, remote learning. So they're kind of like, I'm done with a computer. I don't want you to send me all these emails and send everything to me this way. So I feel like that was difficult at first, but now that we're moving more into post-pandemic things, it's starting to become a little easier and we're getting back out into the community, which I think will be helping tremendously.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been so difficult with your job always changing because of the state of the pandemic and the United States in general right now always changing too. Have you seen a lot of people who their mental health seems to be reacting to the pandemic even more so than the work you guys did before the pandemic? I know you started during the pandemic, but if you've seen like the trends and stuff.
Yes. So we've actually conducted our regional needs assessment for 2020 that we just published. It is on our website. It is long. It's like 70 pages. But through focus groups and gathering data, we've seen that the mental health of people of all ages have been affected tremendously by the pandemic, and it's becoming very difficult through the isolation and then the anxiety of going back and not knowing what's going to happen for the future. It's been very, concerning. And now that we're going back, a lot of the concerns are around youth and going back to school. How are they going to react? And the younger generations, they got so used to being online. It's extremely difficult. And those who have to go back to work now, there's a large concern around, employers trying to offer and help make the transition as easy and smooth as possible.
Yeah, I think it can be such a scary and confusing time for so many people. How would someone who thinks they might need help with their mental health or drug addiction start to take those steps? I know they're really hard, but take those steps to find the support that they need.
Yes, well, there are a ton of resources out there. And I will say one of the benefits of the pandemic has been telehealth. There has been a large positive feedback around that, and more people have been seeking help because they're able to do that from the comfort of their home or wherever it's easiest instead of going in person, looking for someone, meeting someone, and going through all that. There are a ton of resources nationally and at a state level. And again, they're online. You can call. They also have text options, which is great, especially among youth or even those who just aren't comfortable talking on the phone and don't want to express their problems or, concerns and issues to someone on phone or on Zoom or in person.
Of course. And are there any ways that people in Connecticut specifically can start to support the organization and the work that you guys do? Or if there's any other information or news you'd like to share with our audience at the moment?
Sure. I really would like everyone to check out our website. You can subscribe to our newsletter that we send out weekly with a ton of information, events that are going on at a regional level, local level, and state level. We're constantly sharing what's being updated in the state, new things, new laws, legislation, things like that, and really just spreading the word and becoming familiarized with everything that's going on and how you can help yourself as well as others.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much, Daniella, for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Join us next week for another episode. For more information about our discussion today, check out our web story at ctlatinonews.com. Follow us on Twitter at CTLatinoNews and Instagram at CT_Latino News. I'm Diego Viruel with CTLN Opinion Plus. See you next time.